in a vampire section. Yeah, these are some titles that I'm looking forward to the most. Books don't have like a time limit. Like, you can read them whenever you want to. I plan on binging the whole series. All 6 books. Because, oops, flop, we bombed that one. Like we do so many YA first in the series adaptations. Except he's a vampire in this, I'm pretty sure. I feel like I'm gonna cry. Lasher, I think, is the devil. Wait, that doesn't make sense, because wouldn't it be Memnock? Who's Lasher? Well, no matter what, it's too much, isn't it? It technically is like retconning Interview with the Vampire, the movie. So, I actually cannot get into this. This is like way too much. The 70s? Oh my god, is it from the 70s? That seems like a long time ago. And this last grouping section here, for the most part, is historical fiction, and the first 2 are actually titles that the adaptations have already come out, or started to come out. So first I have Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, which I kind of forgot certain details of, but there are a couple of quotes here that are very telling, while at the same time, like, not giving too much of the plot away. So this first quote says, "In 1930s Korea, an earnest young woman, abandoned by the lover who has gotten her pregnant, enters into a marriage of convenience that will take her to a new life in Japan. Thus begins Lee's luminous new novel, Pachinko, a powerful meditation on what immigrants sacrifice to achieve a home in the world." And then another quote says, "A deep, broad, and addictive history of a Korean family in Japan, enduring and prospering through the 20th century," which is mostly what I knew about Pachinko, that it's like a family saga, essentially following the generations of a family. And then this quote says, "Astounding, the sweep of Dickens and Tolstoy applied to the 20th century Korean family in Japan." You have me. Compared to Dickens and Tolstoy? I mean, that kind of makes sense with the way that the premise is. Those are great comparisons. So that's Pachinko, and this is I have this hardcover edition, which I very much prefer the cover of compared to the paperback for some reason. And so Pachinko was adapted into a series that the first season has already aired. So that's kind of what I meant by like started airing. So the series was created by Soo Hugh, who was also the main writer, and it is directed by Kogonada and Justin Chon. And the cast, definitely need to apologize for pronunciation. I'm literally basing this off of listening to K-pop and being into K-pop and hearing the way that they pronounce things. Youn, Kim Min-ha, Soji Arai, Jin-ha, Han Jun-woo, Jeong In-ji, Chung Eun-chae, Lee Kaho Minami, Steve Sanghyun No, Anna Symon, and Jimmi Simpson. Love that. Okay. And then, so the first season aired from March to April 2022 on AppleTV Plus, and it has been renewed for a second season. If anyone knows Korean, I would love to know how I did on my pronunciation. But, like, if I did badly, just say, like, it was okay. Okay, then I have The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. And again, I'm gonna read the back. Although this was, like, inspired by, like, a real Essex Serpent thing. I don't really know about it. But there's, like, this scan of the original Essex Serpent pamphlet, The Flying Serpent, or Strange News out of Essex. So it'll be really interesting to read this in the back after I read the book and learn more about the real event thing overall. So it says, London, 1893. Seeking refuge after the death of her husband, Cora Seaborn departs for coastal Essex. Once there, she hears rumors that after nearly 300 years, the mythical Essex Serpent, a fearsome creature that once roamed the marshes, has returned. Eager to investigate, Cora is introduced to parish vicar William Ransom, As they attempt to discover the truth, these seeming opposites find themselves inexorably drawn together, and as their pursuit becomes more urgent, Cora's London past follows her to the coast with striking consequences. I've known about this for quite a while, and got it used because I don't think that this edition is really available anymore. It's all the movie tie-in covers, so... I've been saving money, though, finding books used. By the way, highly recommend, like, Pango Books, if you don't know about that app/website. I've gotten a number of books from sellers on there, because you like, have to upload photos, you know? So you know exactly what you're getting, which I love. Which is something I don't like about, like, eBay, or, like, thrift books, or, like, various other used book websites where you don't actually know the condition and what edition of the book that you're getting is. Anyway, the Essex Serpent has been turned into a mini-series that already aired on Apple TV Plus, another Apple TV Plus adaptation, aired from May to June 2022, and it is 6 episodes. And so the series was developed by Anna Symon, directed by Clio Barnard, starring Claire Danes, Tom Hiddleston, Frank Dillane, Clémence Poésy? Poésy? I've never pronounced her name out loud before. Clémence Poésy, I think. Hayley Squires, Jamael Westman, Lily Rose Eslandogdu. I'm so sorry, Lily Rose. Gerard Kearns, and Michael Gibson, Michael Gibson, among others. So that's the Essex Serpent. Then we have an interesting case for this next book, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which I feel like is very well known. It's probably one of the most popular historical fiction books ever in the past, like, decade, honestly. I can't believe I haven't read this yet, but here I finally own it. And it's about 2 sisters who live, I think the year on the inside says, yeah, France, 1939. And it's about 2 sisters who are dealing with the war differently. One has a family and she's just trying to protect her family and survive. And then the other sister joins the rebellion. And that's what I know about it. There's quite a long description on the inside. I'm not gonna bother with those details right now, to be honest. Yeah, The Nightingale, I've heard it's really sad. So, the adaptation, I say this is an interesting situation with this book because it sounds like they've already filmed it. I wrote down, IMDb says expected 2023 and lists it in pre-production, but the Wikipedia article makes it sound like it has already been filmed. And it seems like they're trying to figure out where to release it. I mean, maybe it's also still going through, like, post-production editing and things like that. But Netflix and Disney Plus were both mentioned in terms of the release. So I don't really know what's happening with this. But the film is directed by Mélanie Laurent, who is, I feel like, mostly known for playing the one character who, like, burns down the theater in Inglourious Basterds. Screenplay by Dana Stevens, and it stars Dakota and Elle Fanning as the sisters. So I like that they're getting real sisters to play the sister characters. And though there's one more title after this, I'm pretty sure the next one is not historical fiction. So rounding out the historical fiction section here, I have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. And this, I remember, I have this in, like, my summer TBR, which is now moved. I did not read in July, unfortunately, so a lot of those books I'm trying to read this month. Even though I literally earlier was like, I'm gonna try to binge read the entire Vampire Academy series. They seem really fast paced though, so I think that I could probably finish maybe like a book and a half a day for that series. Here's to hoping. I'm committed to it though. So a lot of my summer books got pushed basically to this month because next month is definitely going to be fall. And thankfully, some of the books do fit the fall mood, in my opinion, and this is one of them, because just historical fiction, I feel like, is good for summer and fall, to me, in my opinion, for my moods. I remember reading the back of this and being surprised, because it had information that I did not know about. I read it in my summer TBR and recommendations video. Marie-Laure Leblanc. That's probably too French. I'm literally just going to call her Marie-Laure. That's not a fun name to pronounce with a French accent. She lives with her father in Paris near the Museum of Natural History, where he works. When she is 12, the Nazis occupy Paris, and father and daughter flee to the walled citadel of Saint-Malo, where Marie-Laure's reclusive great-uncle lives in a tall house by the sea. With them, they carry what might be the museum's most valuable and dangerous jewel. Yeah, did not know that. I now know from having read the back of this a couple times. In a mining town in Germany, Werner Pfennig, an orphan, grows up with his younger sister, enchanted by a crude radio they find that brings them news and stories from places they have never seen or imagined. Werner becomes an expert at building and fixing these crucial new instruments and is enlisted to use his talent to track down the resistance. Marie-Laure and Werner, from warring countries, both having lost many people they loved, come together in St. Malo as Dora illuminates the ways against all odds people try to be good to one another. I never read the entire back of that. I always knew this as a story that was sad but uplifting, and the main character is blind. Marie-Laure is blind or semi-blind. I've talked about, I just mentioned that this was in my summer TBR video, and one of BookTube's own, Aria Mia Liberti, has gotten the role of Marie-Laure, and she is legally blind. Yeah, so I guess that brings me to the cast and crew here. It's been turned into a series. They filmed this summer, a limited series, a miniseries. I don't know if they finished, actually, but they filmed this summer. So the series was developed by Shawn Levy and Stephen Knight, directed by Shawn Levy and written by Stephen Knight, and the cast includes Aria Mia Liberti, Mark Ruffalo, Hugh Laurie, Lewis Hoffman, Lars Edinger, and Andrea Deck. Those are the names I wrote down. Netflix, limited series, 4 episodes. I'm guessing a 2023 release, but there is no date attached to it. And finally, this is kind of a combination here, because I bought, the book haul part of this, is A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. But this book in particular is not being adapted. So I will tell you the premise of this just from reading the back. Very intriguing, although my copy is a little messed up. It got printed crooked and like very close to the edge. Ignatius J. Riley. Fat, flatulent, eloquent, and almost unemployable. By the standards of ordinary folk, he's pretty much unhinged too. But is he bothered by this? No. For this misanthropic crusader against an American fallen... What? Oh, my God, the writing... You have to, like, get into this flow. Jesus. But is he bothered by this? Okay, I can't. But is he bothered by this? No. For this misanthropic crusader against an American fallen into vice and ignorance has a mission. I still didn't read it very well. To rescue a naked female philosopher in distress. And he has a pirate costume and a hot dog cart to do it with. Hence the cover. I love this cover. This is the edition that I really wanted of this. That's what the back says. Okay. Also, winner. It should say on the front. But it is the winner of the Pulitzer Prize from the year. What year? It won in 1981. And so the reason why I say that this is not exactly being adapted is because that there's a movie called Butterfly and the Typewriter that is about the publication of this novel. So that I've been meaning to get this, and then also, like, that's why I got it, because I didn't know if that film and the biography is based on would go into any details pertaining to this novel. So, Butterfly and the Typewriter, there is a biography of the same title, Butterfly and the Typewriter, the Tragic Life of John Kennedy Toole and the Remarkable Story of a Confederacy of Dunces, which is by Corey McLaughlin. The film is based on that biography, which is the story of the publication of the Confederacy of Dunces, which didn't happen for 21 years after John Kennedy Toole's death. He tried really hard to get this published and unfortunately committed suicide when he was 31. He lived from 1937 to 1969. So it wasn't published until 1980 through the hard work of his mother. And then in 1981, it won the Pulitzer Prize, which is bittersweet. Directed and written by David Dubos. D-U-B-O-S. Starring Susan Sarandon, Thomas Mann, Nick Offerman, Diane Kruger, Carrie Elwes, Dennis O'Hare, Aidan Quinn, and Brad Dourif are the names that I wrote down. But this also had like quite a long cast list. So that is it. That was a lot, right? Books everywhere. That went well though, I think. I don't know, the beginning was a little rough. Really spent a good 20 to 25 minutes just talking about Blonde, which I wasn't going to do. I wasn't even going to mention Blonde because I bought it last year. But I had to talk about it, and it's definitely being its own video. But I've been filming this in like increments and kind of groupings so that I can edit it in chunks. So whether I split this up into multiple parts or posted one long video, thank you for watching. And if there are multiple parts, check them all out, please. Yeah, I definitely should have asked this in the beginning. At this point, I don't remember what I said in the beginning, but I would love to know if you're excited about any of these adaptations, if you're now interested in reading any of these books because maybe you didn't know about them beforehand, or maybe you did and now you need to get them before the adaptation comes out. Same, that's my situation that I'm always in. So let's talk about books and movies and the adaptations and there's just so much here. So talk about anything. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye!